welcome back to our channel. Today we are celebrating the re-release of the updated, what was formerly the Lovesick bra, and it has been updated and rebranded to the Little Black Bra. Today I'm going to walk you through all of the construction, give you some tips and tricks. I'm going to try to keep this intro short so we can get into the construction, but there are a few things that I want to go over just with the updates so that you know what's going on. The biggest part of the update, and probably the most important, was that we added more sizes to the Little Black Bra. It now goes from tween sizes up to 5X, and it also has been expanded in cup sizes from cup size A to H. And I know there are a lot of people in my group who have store-bought size M cups, and I would strongly encourage you just to download the pattern and see with the new measuring layout. Some of the testers were size M in store-bought, but with the size range that we include in the pattern, they ended up being a G or an H cup. You can't always trust that pesky store-bought sizing. Also, there are more printing options in the pattern. Going off of feedback in the group, there were a lot of people who had a hard time seeing the darts. While there was always layers for the sizes in the pattern, there are now new layers for the dart sizes as well. Also, each size, it's on its own layout, so they're not all nested on top of each other, which will help those that cannot print in layer form. All of the cup sizes are on the same layer, so even if you're doing a tween size A or a size 10 A cup, all of those layers will be on the same one, but as long as you're sticking to the print chart and only print your size, it should be fine. Otherwise, we would have like 150 layers that people would have to go through if I did each size with each cup size. So it'll make more sense once you download it and look in the layer list. There's also a new cut line on the bands for our crop top version. Also, fabric is a big topic of discussion when it comes to this bra. I personally like to use custom knit fabric, like custom cotton lycra. It's 4-way stretch, it's pretty structured, but feel free to experiment with other structured fabric. I also want to mention that making a muslin is super important, as well as going by the size chart, going by the measurements, and the method that we took in measuring yourself for this pattern. Most people are pretty familiar with this pattern, but it has never been offered on the website yet. So that's why we did the rebranding, and it's all just a brand new thing. There's been other little tweaks that we did just for an overall better fit, judging from the previous Facebook group members that have given me feedback on the bra. So I'm really excited for everyone to check it out. And if you wait till the end of this video, I will be releasing a coupon code that you can get it for free. So without any further ado, let's get started sewing up a new bra. Okay, so after you have cut out all of your pieces, you should have 2 front pieces that are mirrored with your main fabric and 2 with the lining. So I'm using this measuring tape fabric for the lining and this sewing or sewist fabric for the outer. This is all fabric from Black Sheep Fabrics, which I will link her shop in the description. You will also have 2 strap pieces and 2 back pieces, one in the main fabric, one in the lining, and 1 long band piece. This is the regular band. The crop top band will be twice as long. So once you have all your pieces cut out, we are ready to sew darts. Okay, the dart process that I'm going to show you, I'm going to do on a spare piece of fabric so that you can see it, because the darts on the bra are a little bit tiny to do on video. So I'm just going to do explain the dart just on the spare piece of fabric. So this is the right side, and you're going to mark the dart on the wrong side of the fabric. So if you're doing this with your bra front piece, you're going to flip it over and mark the darts from the pattern piece on there. And after you're done marking them, you're still going to mark the edge with a little clip into the fabric, like an 1/8 inch. Just clip into the end of the dart at the edge of the fabric. That way, whenever you fold it to sew it, you're going to fold it together, right sides together, and you can see these little clipped marks, and you can place those together. and you will fold it along the center of that dart till it gets to the top. And I like to place a pin right at the top of it going this way so that I know where to stop it. And then once, I'll reline this up again. And then you can place a pin right here along the dart line. And when you go to sew it, you're gonna start at this edge right here where you clipped it, and you're gonna sew all along the line of the dart till the end. And when you get to the end, you just keep sewing right off the fabric. I'm gonna take this to the machine so you can see how I did that. Okay, so at the machine, you're going to place your dart under the presser foot at the edge where you marked it, and you're gonna forward and back stitch at the edge. And then you're going to continue sewing down that line. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed. Take the pin out and keep sewing as close to the line or on top of the line as you can. Obviously, I'm not doing a very good job one-handed here, but when you take the pin out and go all the way to the edge, you're just gonna sew right off the fabric. Pull the fabric out, and then you're going to leave a long tail here when you clip these. And then what you do is tie just a few knots into the end, and whenever you open it up, you have created a dart. After you've sewn the darts, your front pieces should look a little cupped, as you can see. Whenever you go to sew these pieces together, you want to lay them out, because this is a mistake I've seen a few times in the group. You want to see this dart right here at the arm area, underarm area. Those need to be on the outside. It's opposite this center seam. I've seen people sew this edge together during this step. So for this next step, you will place your front pieces right side up with these darts on the outside, and then you're going to flip this over and place this center seam together, right sides together, and then you'll sew down this edge. So now the front of your bra is fully complete with all the darts and being sewn together. So you'll do the same thing with all these steps on your lining piece, and this is what it will end up looking like. Here are the darts for under the arm. If you're choosing to add cups to your bra, you're going to be working with the lining fabric, and you're going to be working on the wrong side. So I just cut some cups out of a bra because I'm not adding cups for real to mine, because I don't need the support of cups for me personally. But whenever you go to add the cups, the concave side of this cup needs to face the wrong side of your lining. So when you go to add those, make sure that when you flip this back over, it goes in like this, like the darts are in reverse, backwards. So you can choose to stitch all the way around the cup, or you can just tack it in a few spots, but you'll just do the same thing with the other one. And you're going to center it. It'll probably be a little bit of personal preference how your cups sit, but it's kind of pointing. The darts are kind of aiming the center of the cup. I just want to jump in real quick while we're adding cups to this bra. Make sure, no matter what you do, if you sew around the cup or just tack it into place, to at least attach it to the lining somehow. There are so many sports bras that you can buy at the store that do not sew that cup in, and it's super obnoxious when you go to wash it and the cups just go everywhere. So make sure that if you're adding cups, to really attach it to the lining. Now we're going to attach the front and the back piece together. So you're going to place the front piece right side up, and the back piece will be placed right sides together with the front piece, and you're going to line up the side seams on both pieces, right sides together, and sew down both sides. So after you're done sewing those two ends together, you've created sort of a loop with the back and the front pieces, and you can turn the main fabric right sides out, and you're going to repeat the same thing with the lining, placing the front and back pieces together, and you will leave that one wrong sides out. Next, we're going to work on our strap pieces. There's a couple different ways that you can do this. In the pattern, it tells you to place the or fold the strap right sides together long ways like this, and then you're going to sew along the long edge here and turn it right side out. Okay, so once you have your strap sewn and turned right side out, there are a few ways you can finish it. You can top stitch both sides of the strap. What I like to do is just press the seam in the very center of the strap, and that'll be the back side of the strap, and this will be the front. And I do this with a lot of them, and nothing bad has ever happened. So it's up to you, whatever way you want to do it. Another good tip, after sewing a long strip like this, especially along the stretch of the fabric, I always compare my straps with the pattern piece again, just in case it decided to stretch out during sewing a little bit. As you can see, there's a little bit that needs to be trimmed off. Maybe like less than 1/4 of an inch on either side of the strap. But that is with any kind of strap for any pattern that is using knit. I always recheck my straps. Here is where you will add your elastic. If you're adding elastic to your straps, you just put a little safety pin at the end of the elastic. You're gonna slide the safety pin in, and you're gonna have to maneuver the strap around the elastic a bit, like so. And then you'll just keep pulling the fabric along the elastic all the way through. Once you get this end to the end, you're going to want to put a few stitches in the elastic, or through the, fabric and the elastic at the end. You want to just tack that in place. Let me see if I can get it. At the end of the fabric and the elastic, and then on this end too. I pulled it through a little too far. But you'll take the safety pin out and tack this as well. And then your strap now has more support, and it's a little bit thicker. Another way to do the straps is by doing them with the binding method. So you will fold your strap in half, and then you will fold it again up to the center crease that you just made by folding it in half, and then you'll do that on the top too. And then once you get everything folded together, you can fold it over like this all along the strap, and you can sew this edge. And if you're adding elastic, you can still do that, but you'll need 1/2 inch. I believe this is 3/8. I don't think I have 1/2 inch right now in my studio, but you can just fold that in with the strap too. And then whenever your strap is sewn, there'll be elastic in there too. So that's just another alternative to doing just the fold it once and sew method. And these straps are actually, they turn out thinner, and I kind of like the look of these. Okay, so now that we have our straps sewn the way we like them, we're going to take our bra and we're going to place it with the back side up, and then using the measurement in the chart on the in the instructions, you're going to measure in and mark them with pins. And then you're going to take one of your straps, and if you're doing the strap with the seam down the back, you're going to place that up and place the non-seam side right side together with the back bodice. If you're doing any other strap, and it doesn't really matter which way you have it facing, but the seam should be up on here if you're doing it that way. And this is just personal preference. Some testers liked the straps over a little bit more. Some liked them a little wider. So you'll just have to play with this during your muslin, where you want your strap to hit in the back. So you place that there and pin it in place. And you're going to do the same thing on this side, making sure the seam is up if you're doing it that way. And you're going to pin it to the back bodice just like that, and your straps will be hanging down. Now we're going to flip the bra over, and your strap should still be sitting at the bottom like this. Now you want to make sure that this is not flipped, has not like twisted up like this or flipped up. So whenever you flip it over, make sure that your strap is still the right side of it's facing up. Like this is the back side with the seam, and the right side should be up right now. And you're going to take the end of the strap, if I can pull it down a little bit like this, and you're just going to pull it straight up to the top where there's a little straight edge up here for strap placement. And your seam again should be facing up, and you're going to pin or clip that in place. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. So now your straps are looped basically around the bra, like you'll be folded underneath. So now with your lining piece still wrong sides out, you're gonna slide the main fabric bra inside the lining all the way up to the top, and you're going to line up all of the edges. Here's the center seam. You're gonna line those up and pin those into place all the way up to where there's the straight edge for the strap. And you're gonna keep pinning or clipping all the way around, making sure you line up these side seams. And you can mark your lining for the straps as well. And just keep pinning all the way around. And once you're done with that, you're going to sew all the way around the top edge that you just pinned. If I can get it situated. You're gonna pin and then sew all the way around. And when you go to clip the corners, make sure you clip the corners at these edges. I'll show you that right after I sew it. And an important note is to clip into this center one. Also, when you're sewing, another good tip is to forward and back stitch where the straps hit. Anytime there's a strap in between the front and back, or the main fabric and the lining, go forward and back a few times just to make sure that that's secured into place. Before turning your bodice right side out after sewing all the way around the top, you want to clip these corners close to your stitches but not into the stitching. And sometimes I like to trim off if there's some bulk with the straps, trim off that edge and trim up to this corner, making sure not to go through your stitches. Also at the center of the front where these two front bodice pieces meet, I like to clip into it so that it comes to a nice point when I turn it right side out. My scissors are not cooperating, but you cut right up to that pointed stitch, and then you can start turning your bra right side out. Okay, so now your bra is looking really cute. It's got the straps attached and the front and back are together. Now, what I like to do before adding the band is go around the bottom and sew the line, like line up the main fabric and the lining together and sew all the way around just to keep the fabric in place when we're attaching the band. Some people don't like to do this because it's an extra step, but I really feel like it keeps everything nice and secure before adding the band. So there it is, basted together. Like I didn't mention that, but it just needs to be a basting stitch. It's just there to hold the bottom of the bra together before we add the band. So all of this is now together and it won't come apart and slip around when you add the bottom. The last thing that we need to do is add our band. So we're going to fold the band piece in half widthwise, right sides together, and you're going to sew down this short side. So now you've created a loop with your fabric, and now you're going to fold it wrong sides together, still in a loop, And then we're gonna start at the seam over here. Can't really see it, but you can on the inside. So you're gonna start on the seam and you're gonna place a pin or a clip here and a pin and a clip, or a pin or a clip on the other side. And then you're gonna put one at the center point of this and the center point of this side. So now that your band is marked into quarters, you're gonna slide it onto the bottom of your bra, and you're going to have to stretch the band a little bit to get the pins to line up with the seams. So this pin, this is where the seam is in the back, and that'll be placed at the center of the back. And then the rest of the pins will line up with the side seams of the bra right here. And then this one opposite of the seam on the band will be at the center of this, of the front piece where the seam is. And then the other one will go to the other side seam. And then the back, you'll have to find the center of the bra, and then you can place that right sides together as well. And then all you need to do is sew along all the way around it. You can pin in between. You have to stretch the band just a little bit to get it to fit, and that's okay. That's what's supposed to happen. And once you sew all the way around, you need to finish your seam and you're all done. Look at that, you just made a bra. I wanted to chime in after you make your muslin. There are a few little mods that you can do to the pieces just for personal preference in the look of it or the style. If you wanted to come down lower at the center front, like where it's almost hitting the band and not so wide at the center or long at the center, you can start up here where the straps attach and just go. I would leave about an inch just for seam allowance there. You can just draw a straight line and cut it that way. And then if you feel like it's too high under the arm, some people say that they feel that way. Some people don't. It's just a personal preference for the fit of it. If it's too high up under your arm, you can take some out too, starting here, and then you'll gradually go down. I would do it maybe a half an inch at a time or an inch at a time just to see how you like it best. But you start here and go here. Your dart won't change. You'll just cut this off, and make sure if you're doing the underarm one that you adjust the back portion or the back piece too, right wherever, line those two up, and wherever this hits, you'll cut off the back too. So those are just my few things that some people prefer a lower cut. So here it is. I can't believe I'm wearing a bra on YouTube. I hope you found this tutorial helpful today. If you have any other questions, be sure that you join our Facebook group. It's full of sewists who have a lot of knowledge and information and just different ways to do things. And they're really, really helpful and really good about chiming in when someone needs a little bit of help or encouragement. The popularity of this bra really cracks me up because it started many years ago when I did kind of a modification to a woven pattern that I had that has now since been retired. It kind of just exploded. It was never meant to really be a pattern. It was just kind of a tutorial. And here we are, and its bra is kind of official now. So make sure you head over to the site to grab your copy for free using the code LBB. Thank you so much for sewing along with us today, and I cannot wait to see more bras end up in the Facebook group. I can't wait to sew with you next time. Bye.